The world is in a very scary and unbalanced state right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we know this. We've entered this very brave and stunning time, and it shows no signs of going back anytime soon, which is kind of the sad thing. But I don't know if you've heard of this. We've also been granted this superpower where apparently we can identify as anything we so choose and nobody can question it. There's no kryptonite to it right now because the individual truth is, the truth, the script, the story. And one of the biggest talking points within this whole thing, I think we all know this as well, is men identifying as women on any given day and wanting the same rights, the same privileges. They want to be called women. Some of them want to compete in women's sports, as they do. Some of them want to be in the same locker rooms, changing rooms. And if you want to take it a step further, you can start your own series on TikTok. The days of girlhood. I've heard through the grapevine, and don't take it from me, it's very profitable and brands apparently love it.
I am Eloise. I am 6.
And Piers Morgan has made this a very big talking point on his show now. A very big talking point. He's bringing a lot of attention to it, which is a good thing because we need somebody with his huge platform to be talking about the craziness going on in this world right now. And when you talk about these topics, more often than not, you end up getting a viral clip out of it. And I'm sure you've all seen it. I was meant to talk about this a few days ago, but we had other topics to talk about. But Piers Morgan on his show had 2 women. One of them was obviously part of the clown world agenda and she's for everything. And the other one has a lot of common sense. And he poses the question to the woman that is for the clown world agenda. Well, because of how crazy things have gotten and we can do anything we want now, what's stopping me from identifying as a black lesbian? I can't believe he said it, but the funnier part is, right, the other woman on that panel who's got the common sense is also black, and her reaction to it kind of makes the clip for me. It's absolutely hilarious. I promise you, if you've had a bad day today, this will cheer you up. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this.
If anyone,
there's so many benefits.
Right, but if
to having
anyone,
a day.
according to you, can identify as a woman, anyone can, right?
I don't see a problem with
Just literally put their hand up and say, I'm a woman.
But it's not an easy thing to do, to go out into
Actually,
the world.
it's very easy. Very easy.
You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say,
what
this
does
is
doing
who,
it involve?
Whatever that person decides, but to
Does it
go
involve
out into the
makeup?
world and say, I don't identify as perhaps the sex I
So
was
why
born
can't
as.
I
It's
identify?
not-
Okay, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was.
I'm serious. I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I, on International Women's Day, say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status.
I think
we're
that's
talking
what.
about quite a
With
strong
respect, I think
physical
that
change.
you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually, I think what you said ridicules trans people, because actually people who go through the full process of transition, who actually go through what we used to call a sex change, which I don't think you can muck around with original biology, but those who actually go through surgical procedure over a number of years, I've got great respect for that very difficult journey they go on. I have zero respect for people who just wallop their hand up and go, suddenly, I'm a woman and I want all the rights that a woman has and I want to compete, say, in sport. I'm a 6'4" athlete, sprinter, swimmer, whatever, who's competed very mediocrely in male sport. I now want to come in and crush women in swimming pools and in sprinting events and break all their records, perhaps irrevocably, just by saying, I'm a woman. I think that is the absurdity you were talking about. My response was to say, well, if it's limitless, why can't I then say whatever I want to say? And you say immediately, as I knew you would, well, that's ridiculous. But my point is, you were being ridiculous.
As crazy as it sounds, and I still can't believe he said it, isn't he just speaking facts right now? Where you can identify as anything you want on any given day, absolutely anything. You can identify as a black lesbian and people aren't allowed to question it. What's stopping somebody from doing that? Somebody on Twitter right now could announce, hey guys, I'm a black lesbian, even though they're white. And there'd be people out there who would support them. Wow, that is so stunning. That is so brave. Well done. You would hear seals across the world. But if you questioned it because you know how insane it is, they would try and silence you. They would say, oh, no, that's just all bigotry. How dare you not accept this person? What is happening, and I think this is the real end goal, they want us all to stand for everything. So in the end, and I think we're reaching this point, we stand for nothing. There is a clear and obvious issue, and I don't know why people deny it, with men identifying as women and getting the same rights, the same privileges, because when you allow that to happen, you get situations like the one we saw in Scotland, where Isla Bryson, who was a man, R-worded 2 women, changed his gender, and even according to his wife, it was a scam. He got remanded in a woman's prison. Now, I promise you, and I say this, if there wasn't a lot of outrage, if there wasn't a lot of backlash, if the public didn't know about it, he would still be remanded in a woman's prison. That's how crazy things have gotten. And this woman, by the way, who Piers Morgan questions, obviously hasn't read the instruction manual, hasn't been briefed on the whole thing. You know, she just jumped on the bandwagon because he asked her, look, well, how many genders are there? And she says, well, there's 2 genders. What? Isn't that bigotry?
How many? Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Angelica. How many genders are there?
2.
There are 2 genders.
Oh.
Wow. So you don't believe in transgenders at all?
Well, I think there are.
Whoa, hang on. Whoa. There are 2 genders?
Well, it's taught in.
Well, you say, well, you've literally just launched this huge defence of transgenderism. Now you've eradicated it.
I think
If there are 2 genders, you mean male and female, right?
There's gender fluidity. I will.
Fluid between what?
Between what?
Between different identities, and we can choose different
You
identities.
see how difficult this is, though?
But it is difficult. But I think making.
But it's not difficult until you make it difficult. You see, the BBC has done teaching videos to 11 and 12-year-olds where they say there are 100 genders. One of them was astrogender, which is an affinity with the stars and the galaxy. My response to that on the last show I did was to say, well, in that case, I identify as a 2-spirit penguin. I was then told I was being ridiculous, but I made the same point. The ridiculousness is the BBC teaching kids there are 100 genders. There aren't. It is absurd.
You can just tell by the look on that woman's face, she did not know what to say. She doesn't know what to say, because in that second she learned common sense beats false realities. I mean, she'll go back to her ways of thinking. She probably did after that show stopped, but she'll soon learn if she keeps on saying there's only 2 genders, she won't be accepted for that long. It's just crazy to me now we've entered the time where we're being told to ignore our own eyes and thoughts. That's essentially the game, right? They're telling people to ignore their own eyes and thoughts. And people do that. People will comply out of fear because they're scared to be called transphobic. Oh, you're a bigot. In my opinion, those buzzwords have just lost all meaning because people just throw them out like, Oprah, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, or people get indoctrinated by the education system and any form of media. You look around you and it's all so progressive now. It's literally impossible to get away from it. And I thank Piers Morgan again for bringing attention to this, because when you get people like Piers Morgan bringing attention to it, more eyes to it with their huge platform, it also raises the issue to people that may not know about it. And I feel like that's how you shift the culture war, you know, in a better direction. It's just going to take a lot of time, and we are far away from common sense being brought back into society. It's so sad, man. It really does make me sad. But that is the end of the episode right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed Piers Morgan wanting to identify as a black lesbian. I've also been thinking the same, you know, so maybe me and Piers Morgan can meet up and, you know, decide on our coming out stories. Who knows? If you could, please make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that big red subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Make sure to always have a great day and stay safe. I'm out. Peace.